winners? Let the pros show you how to make money. General Manager Al DeMarco, a regular contributor on Fox Sports, MSNBC, and Comcast Sports TV, brings over 25 years of handicapping experience to the table. CEO Steve Budin, the author of Bets, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, is the man responsible for creating the online betting industry. Together, they lead PickNation.com, your #1 source for winners.
You are watching a special Thursday night edition of the Countdown to Kickoff program. Al DeMarco along with Steve Budin, wondering why we can't get a good Thursday night game. I mean, what goes on here? Cleveland, Pittsburgh, I almost fell asleep last week. 2 weeks ago, Seattle and Philadelphia, I still don't think the Eagles showed up for that game.
And who's the guy in the beginning of the season that looks at these teams and go, oh yeah, we got to have them on Thursday night. If the commissioner's out there, call me, man. Call me in the beginning of the year. We'll talk. We'll go over this stuff.
Hey, we've got Atlanta and Jacksonville tonight, guys. I have been a professional sports handicapper for over 25 years, started my career as a sports reporter, so I use the knowledge I gained from being around teams and players and covering them day in, day out for over 8 years. It all comes down to talent evaluation for me, looking for mismatches on the field. Steve, former bookmaker, son of a bookmaker, the guy who created the offshore sportsbook betting industry that you know now today. I don't think I said that right, but we're not going to go over it again. But you created it back in the 80s. You bring a whole different perspective to the game. When you look at it, you're looking at it like a bookie. Is the number right? Is it a sharp number? Is it a soft number? Is it a sucker play?
Right, so in 1994, when I got my first call from Minnesota with someone who wanted to place a bet, and I was sitting in Panama, that was the first time in history that any gambler had ever bet offshore. Very different now, as I've joined forces with the actual syndicates that I used to chase, and we're now going against the bookmaker, full circle, leveling the playing field for all the gamblers out there.
Well, let's get talking about this game here tonight on Atlanta and Jacksonville. You know, 2 weeks ago, guys, I told you Atlanta would go to Houston and would lose. You disagreed. I was right.
You know what, Al, when it comes to Atlanta, you ever see in a casino a guy who walks up to the roulette table, he sees 3 blacks, he bets on red, it comes black. He sees 3 reds, he bets on black, it comes red. Well, that's the story with me and the Atlanta Falcons, so just pan the camera over there and listen to what he has to say. It's a lot better than me.
Well, last week, guys, I told you the Falcons would rebound because they always rebound after a straight-up loss, 15-2-1 against the spread going into last week's game against Carolina. And what did they do? They stunk up the joint in the first half. They were down 23-7 at halftime, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, I'm going to show up at this week's show, and I'm going to hear it. But
I was doing push-ups watching the game. I couldn't wait to get here.
But then Matt Ryan finally rediscovered his passing touch, a monstrous second half. The defense actually contained Cam Newton thanks to a shanked field goal. Suddenly the Falcons are walking off with a 31-23 win and cover at Carolina. Jacksonville, on the other hand, for those 7 or 8 fans out there for the Jaguars, and I don't know who they are. Maybe I may be overestimating. The over-under might be under here.
They're all bookmakers, I'll tell you that much.
Jacksonville last week, down 14-0 at home to a Tampa Bay team that had lost 6 in a row. And then suddenly they woke up. 41 straight points. They won 41-14. I don't know. I mean, you know, what can you take away from this Jacksonville team that was crushed in the Monday night debut of their interim coach, Tucker, you know, by the Chargers? You know, I look at this particular game now. Blaine Gabbert had, for him, his best game in his rookie season. 19 for 33, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, of course, last week. But again, that was a Tampa Bay team that played no defense, and they were playing at home. This Falcons team occasionally plays defense like they did in the second half against Carolina, and the Falcons, of course, playing at home here. I think the dynamic that I'm looking for in this game is for Michael Turner to have a big game on the ground against a Jacksonville defense that can't stop the run.
And Atlanta, I feel they have to have a convincing win heading into the playoffs if they're going to make some
If they're going to make it.
If they're going to make it. They have to actually beat a team ugly. They have to beat them outright. They have to kill them. And I think that could be the case here. I think Jacksonville may be just what the doctor ordered for Atlanta. And call me crazy, but I'm on Atlanta again.
There you go. Now I'm worried.
Yeah,
He's on Atlanta, I'm on Atlanta. Now I'm really worried. Total, sitting around 42. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I like under. Jacksonville, I mean, if you believe in their 42 points last week, you're a sucker. I mean, this is a team that scores 12, 12.5 points week in, week out. You got to go under here. It's the only way to play it.
And the Falcons have stayed under in 9 of their last 11 games. So that's our Thursday night's predictions. And remember, guys, if you go right now to our site, you have a chance to win $300 of my money playing fantasy football in conjunction with DraftStreet.com. Listen, this isn't the fantasy football that your father or maybe even you played 20 years ago. This is instant gratification football.
Love it, because for gamblers out there, we're used to traditional fantasy football where you wait the entire year to see if you win. Well, now with DraftStreet.com, it's instant. You put your team in on Sunday. By the end of the Monday night game, you check the website and you get paid if you win. I love that. It's instant gratification. It's why me and you talk about it so much this year.
I mean, this guy next to me finished 10th last week, 4th the week before. Listen, here's the deal, guys. You have until Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern time to actually put together your team, but do it early. It takes 5-10 minutes, but this way you can put together your team. You can make last-minute roster changes right up until 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. $300 of my money at stake at DraftStreet.com. Just use my last name, as you see at the bottom of the screen, DeMarco, to enter the contest. It's free. Top 7 finish in the money. That'll do it, and make sure you catch us for our special Saturday and Sunday editions of the Countdown to Kickoff show as we continue. Good luck, everybody.